You know, today's game has changed tremendously with the technology of the frames and the strings. Now in today's game, if you don't have topspin, you are not going to be a competitive player at any level. And the flat ball has no spin on it, it's not going to change directions, it's a very predictable shot to hit. But the topspin, you can hit the ball actually harder, it doesn't go quite as far, and it has a bite on it. Some of the strings will move in congruence to the ball. It'll actually stretch the strings and snap it back in place, which creates a lot of spin. Sometimes you'll hit a shot and it just felt beautiful coming off your strings, but it's just long or a little bit wide. It might not be you, but there's a good chance it's because your strings are misaligned.
When you hit a lot of spin, the strings are moving around all over the place.
It's not the same. You don't feel the ball exactly how you should.
You're not gonna make a good shot if your strings are not straight.
If you try and straighten the strings with your fingers, you will never get them completely straight. But the only reason people use their fingers is because up till now, there's never been a device to straighten your strings. And now we have one. It's called the string thing. Now, the string thing is a virtually indestructible item. It's made out of polycarbonate on the outside, which is almost a bulletproof material. And the inside, the wheels, are made out of something called nylon with Teflon injected into them. The old ways to straighten the strings, you'd have to use your fingers, and even at that point, it's going to take a little bit of time to get the entire racket straight. With the string thing, we can straighten our racket literally in seconds. That's simple.
You run it up and down the racket?
Just go straight up and down on each main, but you never need to go sideways.
Ready to go?
And it also has an axle. With the axle, you can actually tweak it and you can bend the unit so it'll do a side string too. Now, some players will keep it in their pocket and use it between points. Some players will keep it in their bag and use it during the changeovers. And some players, when they go to towel off, they'll keep the string thing in their towel. They'll come over, do a couple of quick strokes, put it back in the towel and throw it into the corner. If you put the racket back in your bag after you play a match and they are this misaligned, the string memory, this is where the strings are going to train themselves to sit. And putting the racket in your bag like this, or playing like this, will give you less topspin, less slice, less power. I've had stringers tell me that when they string a racket, when it gets out of the press, they're not perfectly straight. While it's on the press, they can straighten the strings immediately. And we had stringers at the French Open and the Australian Open this year using this product with great results. The product is made in America. There's no screws holding this together. There's nothing to rust. This thing is virtually indestructible. If it ever does come apart, if you run over it or smash it into the ground, just put the two ends together, pop it, and it snaps right back in place. Now, back in the day, Pete Sampras used a product called the String-a-ling. What you would do is you'd put a little piece of plastic between every cross and every main. It would stop the strings from basically cutting into each other, making your strings last 3-4 times longer than normal. But in today's game, the drawback with the String-a-ling is those prevented the strings from moving. Well, in today's game, you want the strings to move. You want them to bite. You want them to just attack that tennis ball, move, and shoot that ball off your strings. That's why that was old technology. The string thing is the technology of today.